The attractiveness of INFJ females is in the depth of their inner world and the way they move through life with quiet intensity and authenticity. INFJ females are deeply attuned to the emotional currents around them, often sensing what others are feeling before a word is spoken. This sensitivity is not just passive observation, it's an active, compassionate engagement. They instinctively know how to comfort, inspire, and heal, often becoming emotional anchors for those close to them. People are drawn to this kind of understanding because it feels rare, almost sacred in a world that often moves too fast to notice what's happening beneath the surface. Their idealism is another thing that makes them attractive. INFJ women often carry within them a vision of a better world, a deep, almost spiritual yearning for truth, justice, and beauty. This gives them a quiet strength and resilience that is incredibly compelling. They are rarely cynical, and their hope, even when tempered by reality, becomes a beacon for others. This idealism is not naive. It is rooted in deep thought and inner conviction, which adds to their uniqueness. The intellectual depth of an INFJ woman adds to her attractiveness. She is a thinker, someone who reflects deeply on life's complexities and paradoxes. Her insights often feel poetic, infused with symbolism and meaning. Conversations with her are deep. She gravitates toward discussing purpose, identity, relationships, and the human condition. There is a soulful quality to her thoughts, as if she sees layers in everything, from art and literature to human behavior and spiritual experiences. Check out our newly released INFJ playbook. The link is in the description of this video. Mystery also plays a significant role in the INFJ female's attractiveness. She tends to keep much of herself private, not out of manipulation, but because she values authenticity and connection. She doesn't share herself freely with just anyone, which makes the process of getting to know her feel intimate and special. Her introverted nature can make her seem elusive, and this elusive quality intrigues people. She gives glimpses of her soul, not full disclosures, inviting curiosity rather than demanding attention. When she finally opens up, it feels like a rare privilege. The INFJ female is very creative. Whether she expresses it through writing, art, music, fashion, or even the way she communicates, there's often a unique, original edge to how she presents herself and how she interprets the world. She brings an imaginative spark that adds color to everything she touches. It's not the flamboyant creativity of someone who wants to perform, but the quiet brilliance of someone who wants to express what words alone can't always capture. There's also a distinct moral compass within them, a quiet, yet unwavering integrity that guides their actions and decisions. They are not easily swayed by trends or peer pressure. This self-assuredness, particularly when paired with their kindness, creates a presence that is both grounding and inspiring. People trust them, not just with secrets, but with emotional truths, life stories, and vulnerabilities because INFJ women rarely judge. Instead, they seek to understand. There's a gentle strength to INFJ women that commands respect. They may not always be the loudest voice in the room, but their presence is felt deeply. They can be soft-spoken and nurturing while remaining fiercely principled and determined. This balance between strength and sensitivity is rare and deeply attractive, especially to those who appreciate emotional nuance and depth of character. What makes the INFJ female stand out, even in a crowded world, is her subtlety. She does not clamor for attention, nor does she build her identity around external validation. Instead, she exudes a calm self-possession, a quiet confidence rooted in self-awareness and emotional depth. Her introspective nature is another aspect of her unique appeal. INFJ women spend a great deal of time reflecting, not only on the world around them, but on their inner lives. This self-exploration creates a kind of emotional and psychological depth that others are naturally drawn to. She often seems to know things without being told, reading between the lines, noticing what's left unsaid, and offering insight or comfort in ways that feel intuitive and almost otherworldly. Her sense of empathy doesn't come from surface-level sympathy. It's as though she steps into another person's emotional reality, feeling it with them and offering genuine support. Even the way she loves is different. Her affection is sacred. When she chooses to love, she commits deeply and fully. It's not based on fleeting attraction or convenience. It's rooted in soul-level resonance. She seeks a connection that feels destined, purposeful, and emotionally authentic. There's often a quiet intensity to her love, something deeply romantic, but not in the conventional sense. Her form of romance is more about shared silence than grand gestures, more about mutual understanding than scripted declarations. This kind of love, deep, rare, and soulful, is incredibly attractive to those who recognize its value. Although deeply relational, she does not depend on others to define her worth. She thrives in solitude, often needing time alone to recharge and reflect. This ability to be content with her own company reflects a self-sufficiency that is deeply appealing. She doesn't chase or cling. She invites, she observes, and she chooses. Her boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but carefully tended gardens where only genuine connection is allowed to grow. This makes her love feel earned and meaningful. There's also a quiet courage in the INFJ female that isn't always obvious at first glance. While she may appear reserved or gentle, she holds strong convictions and a willingness to stand alone for what she believes is right. This inner strength is especially compelling because it contrasts so beautifully with her outer softness. She may speak softly, but her words carry weight. She may tread lightly, but her impact is lasting. In moments of challenge or injustice, her sense of purpose becomes fierce, driven not by ego, but by compassion and a deep sense of responsibility to do good in the world. She also carries a timeless quality that resists trend and distraction. While the world often celebrates immediacy and surface-level charm, the INFJ female offers depth, patience, and a long-view approach to life. Her values are steady. Her intentions are sincere. There's an almost spiritual gravitas to the way she sees the world, not in a dogmatic way, but in a way that honors the sacredness of connection, truth, and meaning. To be in her presence is to feel a sense of calm, as though you are being invited into a sanctuary of thoughtfulness and care. All these traits create a sense of intimacy that is both powerful and rare. With an INFJ woman, you don't just share experiences, you share inner worlds. Her love is layered, her mind is intricate, and her soul is generous. She listens not just to reply, but to truly understand. She feels not just her own emotions, but the emotional textures of others. This profound ability to connect deeply, spiritually, and intuitively makes her not just attractive, but unforgettable. One of the most compelling elements of her nature is how deeply principled she is. She lives by a quiet internal code, a set of values that guide her thoughts and actions regardless of external influences. This makes her feel incredibly trustworthy, like someone you can depend on, not just emotionally, but ethically. Her integrity shows in small, consistent ways, in how she honors her word, in how she treats people when no one is watching, and in how she holds herself accountable to her own standards. This kind of consistency in character is not only rare, it's deeply magnetic. People find themselves instinctively respecting her, often without needing to understand exactly why. She also has a nurturing quality that goes far beyond superficial caretaking. It's not just about being kind, it's about making others feel profoundly seen, heard, and accepted. When an INFJ woman gives you her attention, it feels undivided. She has the ability to make even the most guarded individuals open up, not through force, but through the safety she provides simply by being present. This emotional sanctuary she creates becomes a powerful draw for people who have longed for authentic connection but rarely found it. In relationships, her loyalty runs deep, rooted not in obligation, but in emotional sincerity. She does not love lightly. If she lets you into her inner world, it means she sees something rare and enduring in you. And when she commits, she does so with a fierce kind of devotion that is quiet but unshakable. She is the kind of partner who supports your dreams as though they are her own, who remembers the small things that matter to you, who tries to understand you on levels even you may not have explored. Loving her can feel like being wrapped in something timeless and sacred, because she doesn't just love with her heart, she loves with her entire being. Her solitude is another trait that makes her so intriguing. She often prefers the company of her thoughts, nature, books, or dreams over the noise of shallow interactions. This doesn't make her cold or distant. It makes her self-sustaining, self-nourishing. She finds joy and meaning within, which means she doesn't approach relationships from a place of lack. Instead, she offers companionship as an extension of her wholeness, not as a cure for loneliness. This independence, paired with emotional depth, creates a rare kind of romantic equilibrium that many find irresistibly appealing. Even her silence is powerful. An INFJ woman doesn't speak just to fill space. When she does speak, it's usually thoughtful, considered, and impactful. Her words often carry emotional resonance, and people tend to listen when she talks, not just because of what she says, but because of the presence behind her words. In a world overflowing with noise and distraction, her quietude is refreshing. It commands attention without demanding it. Her presence doesn't just attract, it shifts people. She doesn't walk into a room demanding attention, but somehow, when she's there, the emotional temperature changes. There's an unspoken gravity to her, a soulful stillness that feels like a sanctuary in a world full of noise. People may not always be able to name what it is they're drawn to, but they feel in her eyes, in her energy, in the way she listens as though your words actually matter, because to her, they do. Check out our newly released INFJ playbook. The link is in the description of this video. What also enhances her appeal is her emotional discipline. While she feels deeply, often more than she lets on, she rarely acts impulsively. There's a quiet maturity to how she handles emotion. She doesn't play games, doesn't manipulate, and doesn't engage in drama. She is emotionally honest and seeks clarity rather than chaos. This emotional steadiness creates a sense of safety for those around her. You can be your full, unfiltered self with her and still feel respected. Her imagination, too, adds to her magnetism. She often dreams of lives she's never lived, people she's never met, and places she's never seen, and yet feels deeply connected to. She builds inner worlds rich with emotion, fantasy, and beauty. These dreams are not childish whims, but soulful visions that inspire the way she walks through her real life. She may express this creativity through writing, music, visual art, or simply the way she speaks and thinks. This ability to dream, to envision more than what is, adds a kind of spiritual elegance to her personality. Being around her feels like stepping into a different reality, one where feelings are honored, words are intentional, and meaning is never far away. Another profoundly attractive quality is her sense of purpose. She may not always talk about it openly, but she often lives with an inner mission, whether it's to heal others, to express truth through art, to support marginalized voices, or to simply live authentically in a disingenuous world. There is usually something burning inside her. This sense of purpose adds a quiet fire to her presence. She doesn't drift aimlessly. She moves with intention, even if her path is unconventional or misunderstood. And that makes her deeply alluring. She is someone you don't just walk beside, but someone who invites you to find your own direction more clearly, simply by watching her walk hers. Even the way she processes pain adds to her quiet beauty. Life doesn't spare her from hardship. In fact, she often feels the weight of the world more acutely than others, but she transforms that pain. She reflects on it, learns from it, weaves it into her growth. Her resilience is not about toughness or denial, but about transformation. Her wounds don't harden her. They soften her, deepen her. They create an even larger capacity for compassion and for wisdom. Being with her feels like being with someone who has earned her grace, not someone who floats above life's trials, but someone who has been through the fire and emerged still believing in beauty. One of the most silently attractive traits of all is her loyalty to herself. Though she deeply loves others, she doesn't abandon herself to do so. She often struggles to maintain boundaries because of her desire to give and help, but as she grows, she learns the sacred balance between self-sacrifice and self-honoring. When she reaches that point, her self-respect becomes radiant. She no longer entertains what drains her spirit. She no longer shrinks to fit spaces that don't value her depth. She becomes more selective, not out of pride, but because she understands what it costs her to give so much. This evolution in her, this conscious reclamation of her energy, makes her even more attractive. Check out our newly released INFJ playbook. The link is in the description of this video.